Hey, this is Kit Cabela at UE Hall. We're still covering the Chicago Socialist Alternative event, Build a Resistance Against Trump Care. Today I'm joined here with...
Mateusz Tomkowiak.
All right, Matt, essentially, during the discussions, you spoke about being related to or working alongside the building of the Affordable Health Care Act. When were you part of this, and where was it located at?
Sure. I was a PhD student at Princeton, in Princeton, New Jersey. This was about 2010, and there were a whole host of people that came over to talk to our campus. They were interested in how to sell Obamacare, how to reform Obamacare, and I was involved in a lot of the discussions there.
Essentially, who were the main organizers for that event? Of course, going back 2010, can you just name some names?
At the time, I believe Kathleen Sebelius was there, and there were a number of people in the economics department.
Now, was there any talk about having a single-payer health system? And if so, was it pushed back? Was it openly embraced? What was the general atmosphere in that environment?
So all the issues were kind of discussing about, this was a very academic event, so it was, people's studies and people's research papers. So it wasn't kind of in the broad, abstract view of this is the direction, but it would be kind of very specific questions on how we should move forward. And then, us kind of debating the merits of a particular study, what is the methodology of this study, did they do it the right way? So it wasn't kind of those abstracted discussion. My discussions were more like, here are the ways in which we can improve Medicaid, for instance. And Medicaid itself is a single payer system. So we would talk about, here are the ways in which we could create more patient protections in Medicaid. Here are the ways we could sell them to the American public, things like this.
All right, and in regards to the Affordable Health Care Act, of course, it helped a lot of people get insurance and get coverage. But now with Trump Care coming along, it's apparently clear that people are going to lose their coverage. What are your initial thoughts on Trump Care, and if it's implemented, what are the consequences of it?
It's awful. It'll be death to people. We know that if Trump Care passes, people will die. But here's the problem: under Obamacare, 25 million people were uninsured. Plenty of those people are dying as well. Both Obamacare and Trump Care in the end leave far too many people uninsured. And that's why I fundamentally believe we need to move in the direction of a single-payer system.
All right. What would be needed to establish a single-payer system? Because it's clear that in California, that was shut down by the Democrats, and Nancy Pelosi still hasn't warmed up to the idea of universal health care, single-payer health care system in the United States. Can it be done by the Democrats? Or if not, then what would be needed to establish a universal health care system here in our country?
I think we need to start basically some sort of third-party movement because, as you say, the Democrats are not on our side when it comes to this issue. And yeah, I think in terms of policy issues, there's an incredible divide between the grassroots and the political elites on this matter. On public opinion polling, when you ask people about single payer and Medicare for all, 80% of Democrats support it, 60% of independents support it, between 30 to 40% of Republicans support it. I live in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood of Chicago, which is about 70% Trump Republicans. And when I go to my neighbors and I talk to them about single payer systems and getting rid of for-profit health insurance, I get a lot of support from these folks. If we can focus a political movement on this particular issue, we can truly change politics in America. Because that's the way all the major change has happened in America. It's been third-party movements that have cohered around a particular issue and have essentially pushed it to the top of the agenda because the two-party system at the time refused to be accountable to the people. And I believe we are fundamentally in a moment in our history where we need that kind of movement.
Now, it's quite clear that there's a lot of resistance against a two-party establishment system. People are looking at third parties like the Green Party, Libertarian Party, Socialist Alternative. And let's be honest, you're actually running for office right now. So what's the district that you're running in, and essentially who are your opponents in that district?
Sure. I'm running the 3rd Congressional District. Right now the incumbent is a guy named Dan Lipinski, who's been around, who essentially got the seat from his dad, who was Bill Lipinski. Together, they've ruled my district for 25 years, basically. The guy, Dan Lipinski's an extremist. He wants to ban gay marriage. I'm trying to become the first gay person ever elected to Congress in our state's history. He voted against the ACA. He refuses to even think about single payer. He's just bad. And the district itself is not a red district. In the last election, 40% voted for Trump. And in the primaries, they voted almost 60% for Bernie. It is a solidly blue, solidly Bernie district, but it is run by a corrupt Democratic Party machine. and it has been run that way for about 25 years. And I believe the only way to finally break it is through an independent movement, one that capitalizes on this particular issue. Because I go to town halls where Dan Lipinski every once in a while will hold a town hall, and I'll speak about single payer, and that gets the biggest applause lines in the room. Because people are sick and tired of the current healthcare system, and they want change. They're sick and tired of Trump care, they're sick and tired of Obamacare. They want an alternative that they believe in. I believe that alternative is single payer system.
Now, are you running strictly as an independent, or have you reached out to the Illinois Green Party or Chicago Socialist Alternative for any support? Are you going to take one of their banners, or are you just going to effectively just run as an independent by yourself?
Right now, I've only been thinking about it as an independent. I haven't reached out to any organization. I'm here. I go to a lot of these meetings. I'll go to the DSA meetings, the alternative. But at the end of the day, like, I don't care about labels. My passion my entire life has been healthcare. That's how that's how I got involved in the Affordable Care Act. That's why I went to Princeton to study my doctorate in the policy. I fought for it my entire life. And I am pushing and I want to push forward. I believe the next step in my own advocacy on the subject has to be to actually enter the political arena. And I don't see anyone in the two major party system that is moving the direction that I believe I want to move in and that the American people want to move in.
All right, now it's quite clear that third parties do have a challenge to get on the ballot and be on the debate stage. Essentially, what challenges has your campaign dealt with, especially around getting on the ballot and being on a debate stage? Have you had any roadblocks stopping you from participating in this election cycle?
So the election's not until 2018, so we haven't gotten into the collection of ballots, collection of signatures yet, and that'll happen. But as you know, the state of Illinois imposes onerous restrictions on us. Like, we have to have more signatures than the normal two parties have. You know, we have the people who collect our signatures can't have collected signatures for one of the political parties. So that creates a large burden for us. But you know, when I talk to people in the district, like, no one asks me what my political party is. That's just not. No one cares, right? And when you look at surveys, you know, 30% of people are Democrats, 30% are Republicans, 40% are independent. People are sick of political parties in this country. If you look at all the presidents on Mount Rushmore, every single one of them started their own third political party. They said to hell with the two-party system. And you know what? Americans idolize them for it. They put their faces on a mountain because we're fundamentally an independent country. We don't like the two parties. We don't like political parties in general. That's why the founders didn't put the word political party in our Constitution. Yet these things exist, and they monopolize politics in our country.
So let's say you are to win your election cycle, all right, and you defeat your opponent. When you're in Congress, would you introduce a single-payer healthcare system on the floor, and would you reach out on both aisles from Democrats, Republicans, or any other potential independents?
Of course. This is my number one issue. I'm not going to Washington, D.C. to just sign on to other people's bills or to just, pass talking points. I've actually done the research to move the ideas forward on this matter. I'm going there to fight for that particular issue, and I will talk to anyone who is willing to talk to me and willing to push this issue forward. I'm going there to lead on single payer, and I will talk to Republicans, I'll talk to Democrats, I'll talk to independents, and I will bring the people along with me because I know the population is with us on this particular issue. And if we show them that we have this entire group of people that are mobilized by this issue, that we're willing to vote for an independent, to go past the onerous two-party system, to focus on this particular issue, we can send a huge signal, and Republicans and Democrats will both come to the table and work with us to push this matter forward.
Okay, and final question. Where can our viewers and subscribers learn more about your campaign and follow you on social media?
Wonderful. MAT 2018 is my website. You can find me on Twitter at ITOMKOWIAK. I post quite a bit there, and I'm very transparent about the things I believe, not just healthcare, but every other policy you can think of, and that's a way to start.
All right. Well, Matt, thank you for joining Hard Lens Media. All the best to your campaign, and peace to you, everyone. Let's all do what we can to build a better future.